Welcome to the Social Work is Everywhere podcast, where we uncover the powerful, diverse, and far-reaching impact of social work across the globe. Each episode, we spotlight the practice, research, and experience of students and social workers from a wide range of industries and professions. From clinical care to policy change, from leadership to grassroots advocacy and community engagement, social work is truly everywhere. Through the voices of the University of Maryland School of Social Work community, including faculty, staff, students, alumni, and global partners, we'll explore unique perspectives and innovative initiatives shaping the future of the field. In this episode, we hear from University of Maryland School of Social Work alumni Connie Sgarlata, Lori James Towns, Kathryn Zimmerman, and Jamel Freeman, who share their social work journey and experience, as well as their perspective on the future of social work.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Social Work is Everywhere podcast. My name is Connie Sgarlata. I am the Associate Director of Development and Alumni Relations here at the School of Social Work, and I'm a proud alum of 1989. Today, I have three amazing alumni with me to share their alumni experiences with all of you. We have Lori James Towns, class of 1991, Kathryn Zimmerman, class of 2020, and Jamel Freeman, class of 2023. Thank you all for being here today.
Happy to be here.
Thank you for having us.
So what I'd like is for each of you just to give us all a brief introduction of who you are and a bit about what you're doing now. So Lori, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Thank you, Connie. I am Lori James. I am, the class of 91. I was an advanced standing student, which was an exciting time. And right now I serve as the executive director for the National Association for Public Defense. It's a national organization.
Nice. Thank you. Jamel, do you want to go next?
Yes, my name is Jamel Freeman. I am a macro level policy social work graduated student as of 2025. So in July, yes. So just recently I completed my master's in 11 months. My macro level, minor clinical. Right now I am the founder of Social Innovation 2.3 and the SIF Foundation nonprofit. Nice to see you all.
Good. Thank you for being here. And
Yes,
Kathryn, I know that you didn't start out in social work. So can you touch a little bit on that when you introduce yourself?
Yes. My first career was in hospital administration. And for 20 plus years, with lots that I really enjoyed about that work, creating new programs and services for the health system that I worked for, pretty much the whole time I had what I now call clinician envy. Like I just always thought I want to be in the trench delivering care instead of building the trench. And in my mid-40s, I decided there's no time like the present and I went back to school. I did the program at Shady Grove. I graduated a couple months into the pandemic. So I was that graduating class where nobody knew how to use Zoom yet. And the end was an interesting ride. I have never looked back. Changing careers was absolutely the right thing. I worked in community mental health for a couple of years. And now I'm with a private practice. Although there's some community mental health aspects to the work I do, I spend a full day a week seeing clients in a wellness center at a public high school here in Montgomery County. I live in Montgomery County. And I also am a volunteer with the Red Cross. I'm a mental health first responder. And I do local work for people who have experienced disaster. And I also deploy nationally and internationally a couple of times a year to provide mental health first aid in the immediate aftermath of traumatic events.
Wow. Thank you. So you are still in the trenches, for sure.
I am in the trenches, both in my day-to-day practice and in my volunteer work. Happily so.
Great. Thank you all for being here once again. So I did give you some questions to kind of ponder so that you weren't caught off guard. And you guys can decide who wants to go first. Tell us how you got into social work. And Kathryn, I saved you for last so you could lead into that because you beautifully described that to us. So Lori or Jamel, I don't know if who wants to go and if you want to talk about how you got into social work.
Sure, I'll let Jamel go first as our newest graduate to celebrate him. Nice to meet you too, Jamel.
Of course, I was going to be like ladies first, right? So, tell you how I got into social work. So, I entered the profession. It was driven by a deeply and personal family member who died by suicide and some high school friends back in 2001, which was my father. And I wanted to understand the mental health at a systemic level rather than just the symptomatic one. I am a part of the Frederick Suicide Coalition, and I do a lot of work with the vets locally in Frederick and also the Navy Gold Star program. And my goal was to build a systemic intervention actively to, prevent those who are, not served properly, and even the vets as well, the young cadets going in. So, yeah, it's personal for me. That's how I got into it.
Got into social work. I'm trying to think. I think it was something that was always in me, but I didn't know what to call it. And actually, I did my undergraduate at Morgan State University, and the first day of courses, I was walking down the hallway, trying to figure out like how to declare a major. I was first generation college. So I really didn't know what I was doing. And I actually didn't even go and accept my admission until like after back then we started school after Labor Day, Jamel. And so I just showed up on campus and was like, yeah, I do want to go to school. And they were like, young lady, made sure I got registered. They went, and that was paper folder, Connie. They went and found my paper folder that I'd never
I hear you.
accepted.
I got it.
And they were like, okay, let's get her enrolled. I was walking down the hallway and I met a professor, and he said, you told me I looked lost. And I said, I was. And he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to work with people. I said, I think I'm going to be a sociology major. And he said, do you want to study people or do you want to work with people? And I said, work with people. And he said, well, follow me. And here he was a professor in the social work department. And he became my mentor. And he's the one who exposed me to forensic social work. He started dragging me willingly to the local city jails where we did work with men at the Baltimore City Pre-Release Center. From that time, I was hooked. So it was Mr. Weston, who passed away, I think, 2 years ago. I want to shout out his name and pay homage to him for literally finding me in a hallway and creating my future.
It seems like those just random connections just seem to draw you in, and then the mentors, the people that impact us in ways that you just don't know are going to have an impact on you long term. When I returned to the School of Social Work to work, I did social work for 25 years. Then I went to higher ed, and then I came back to the School of Social Work. Dr. Greif remembered me, remembered what class I took, remembered what class I didn't take of his. I told him why I didn't take certain classes that he had. But those people that just impact you don't know it at the time. In 1987 to 89, paper folders, everything was paper, no computers, Jamel, nothing. Just connecting to people was, important, and it still is important. And so reconnecting with the mentors that I had here that I think at the time I didn't even realize how much they impacted my life. And then just, Jamel, you mentioned systems, thinking of all the systems that even if we want to help, Lori, you had mentioned helping people, you talk to social workers and a lot of them say, I just want to help people. But ultimately it's having impact then on these larger systems that we all have, even if we're on the granular level and in the trenches and boots on the ground, to then national impact, to dealing with national traumas, and even just the public defender's office, all the things that we do. It's just very wide reaching. So it's good to hear your stories and how you got here. So when you think of your time at the School of Social Work, aside from the paper folders, can you describe in 3 words your experience here at the School of Social Work? Kathryn, do you want to go first?
I did a little thinking about that over the weekend. My 3 words are renewal, community, and service. Renewal, because as I just explained, my time at the School of Social Work was the launch of my second career in a direction that just felt so much more true to who I am. Community, specifically at the school, I wasn't really looking for new community. I've lived in Montgomery County for 20 some years. I have built up quite a community, but I found real connection with my classmates, and I still stay really connected to that community to this day. In fact, right after this, I'm having lunch with a classmate who I keep in touch with. He practices nearby, and just as the calendar would have it, I'm meeting up with him right after this. And the service part is, I really learned during my time in social work school how I can best contribute to the needs and well-being of others. So it made very practical and tangible this idea of I want to be in a direct care role, clinical direct care role. I had observed that for a long time and knew I wanted to be there, but I didn't have the skills to do it. So really learning how to be of service to others.
Nice. Thank you. Jamel, do you want to tell us your 3 words?
Sure. For the most recent graduate. And see, here's the thing. I just want to drop this message right quick to the graduates. Here's the thing. You don't have to get it right the first time. You don't. So take the pressure off. All right. My 3 words. I would say catalyst, ethical, and systems thinking. I chose catalyst because there's a powerful spark that accelerates the professional growth and the systemic change, right? And then the ethical, I had to sit back and really think of it, in a broad term, because, it is short and narrow because it's very broad. So I said the bedrock of every decision and intervention. And then systems thinking, you're looking at the whole picture from the individual struggles to the macro policy. And that's when I learned that actually in my my bachelor's program. So that's all I got. Just keeping it short and simple.
Thank you for that. So for me, I wrote down enlightening, empowering, and life-changing. I mean, it was life-changing to be able to come into a professional setting, push myself, finish school, like Jamel said, in the short time period of the advanced standing program, and then really figure out that forensic social work was the space that I wanted to operate in.
Kathryn, hearing you knowing you and hearing your 3 words, but kind of knowing a little bit more about your story. One piece you forgot is that you were the first class at USG to graduate. 2020 was the first class, wasn't it?
I suppose so. Right, because there were course offerings leading up to that. Mm-hmm. But yes, I completed the entire degree at the Shady Grove campus. I did go to Baltimore maybe 3 times during the entire years of my schooling for, an orientation, and I might have even been able to do that at USG. So yes, and I'm a member of the Alumni Board at the School of Social Work, and I am the only alumni board member, first and only alumni board member who completed the program at USG. So I wear that badge very proudly, and I think having that program offering in Montgomery County is an amazing opportunity and resource. And I have stayed very connected to people who have come behind me who are doing the program. I do a lot of mentorship, and I help people however I can. It's clinical only at USG, so it's all clinical behavioral health folks, and I do what I can to help those people find jobs in Montgomery County because most of them were born and raised here and they want to work here.
Right. It is great to have that program there and to also have your support. And it also makes me think of just to work for 20 years in one career and make it is a major shift, but yet when you're in healthcare, you're caring about people in some way. Maybe on a macro level, that you're in, because you were in administrative
Yes.
healthcare.
And so originally I have an MBA. So this was my second master's degree. And I was very intentional about deciding that I wanted to work in the healthcare space, when I got that business degree. And in fact, I'll share a little piece of when the light bulb went off for me. I think I mentioned that my job at this health system here in Montgomery County was to help figure out what new programs and services we should be delivering to our community. And I actually had a lot of fun in that role. And I worked with community members and clinicians, and there was a whole financial aspect because then the work became, okay, how do we develop these new service offerings and how do we fund it? And I was working on a project to expand the emergency room at one of our hospitals. Embedded in that emergency room, we were building what turned out to be the county's only first response unit for victims of sexual assault and intimate partner violence. So I worked really intimately with the director of this program and a lot of the staff. And I had done some other projects with our behavioral health units, but it was doing that work, building out the space, a dedicated space for that service within the emergency department that made me think, wow, that I really feel drawn to doing this work. And actually, before I went back to school, I became a volunteer working in that program. They trained me and other members of the community to be with victims in the immediate aftermath of whatever they had been through and just provide them whatever emotional support we could, help them as they made decisions around whether they wanted to file with the police, those kinds of things. So I did that before I even applied to the School of Social Work.
It's interesting. Your heart's always kind of been there, is what it sounds like. And also to be so bold as to make such a major career change, to make that decision to go back to school and pursue your MSW and follow where your heart's leading you to. So all of you, when I'm hearing your three words, renewal, community, service, catalyst, ethical, system, Jamel, that's so you from talking to you before. It's like that fits. And Lori, just enlighten, empowerment, life-changing. I mean, these are the, social work is absolutely everywhere doing all of these things. So this last question, kind of based on how long you've been in the field, your answer might be a little bit different. But what do you see as the future of social work?
Who, me?
Yes,
No,
you.
yeah, kudos, Ms. Zimmerman and Dr. James, to both of you all, and the overall princess of a moment's Connie. And but no, thank you all. Yeah, I'm like this all the time. That's my personality. Sorry.
Love it.
But I was going to ask Ms. Zimmerman right quick. I was like, when are you running for delegate or senator?
Never.
And please let me know. I have a lot of experience on my resume. I was a legislative clerk in my internship under Delegate Scott Phillips, Judiciary. I testified on two bills, House Bill 1222, that passed. I helped Delegate Valentine, who has half of Washington County and half of Frederick. And there's another bill, can't remember that one right because I was like in 24. But anyway, so I have if y'all see I'm looking over here because I want to make sure I get it right. So I'm a techie, okay? Nerd, however you want to call it, but I love it, right? So based on how long you have worked in the field, as Ms. Connie said, and what do you see for the future? So I did see, here's the thing. So I've never been a follower, right? But I have a heart for the people, any and everybody. And being a military dependent, my father was an E9 in the military. And when I seen this, the whole social work and just in the 3-level systems, I was like, all right, because I like to be different, but I was like, how could I come in and really bring about change and be very immediate, impactful? So I would say the future of social work lies in the seamless integration of empathetic human connection and decentralized privacy-centric artificial intelligence. Okay? I'll let you know if you don't really understand. The field must transition away from the cloud dependent, as we know the cloud, right? Like Microsoft Cloud, y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
And the infrastructure and embrace the ecosystems like GPT for all, because that is an AI model. So rather than relying on massive vulnerable data centers, social workers, hey, us, will run these tools locally on standard laptops using advanced mathematical compression processes known as quantization. Y'all understand that?
Qualitization.
Yes.
Okay.
Qualitization.
Quantization. All right. Yep. I messed it up. I'm sorry. Yes. You got it right. Yes. That's why you are here. You're the teachers. So I'm a little nervous.
We said
little
it.
nervous.
We said it the same way you did. I just
Okay, all
repeated
right.
it because I don't know the word. But
too.
you, but you just taught it to
maybe,
us.
Well, maybe it's the Jersey coming out because I'm from New Jersey. So it could be that too. Charge it to my mind, not my heart. But yeah, so that's how I see it. It's not going anywhere, and that's what I'm doing at the Social Innovation Foundry, bringing in machine, human learning together. And we're going to tear it up like we always do. Boots to the ground. Thanks for letting me share. I'll keep coming back.
And you're right, AI isn't going anywhere. So it's, how do we work with it and how do we incorporate it into what we're doing to make an impact on the world through social work?
Yeah. Can
And
I?
just right quick. Oh, sorry.
Oh no. Go ahead, Jamel.
No, and just right quick. So when I did graduate this past July, I did take the John Hopkins AI Business Strategy course right afterwards. And you can see on LinkedIn, they did a blog on me. They did an interview. And I just taken that and what I learned, and a lot of it has to do with the labeling.
Okay.
A lot of it. It's my mom, she works for the federal government. She's been with them. She's getting ready to retire. Okay, mom, 35 years. She's an accountant. She's down in Huntsville, Alabama. And she always told me, Jamel, and this is before I got into social work, documentation. Because if you don't document it, it never happened.
Can I jump in on the tech side? Because
yes.
I also had some thoughts on that, and it very much aligns, I think, Jamel, with what you were saying. I see something interesting in my practice and with a lot of my fellow clinicians, which is there's a resistance to artificial intelligence because it's in some ways it's a threat, right? So if you're if you're a counselor, a therapist, most clients at some point end up saying, well, I asked GPT, excuse me, this same question that I'm going to ask you, or that I've already asked you, and clients will compare, like, what's the therapy I get from AI like versus the therapy that I have in conversation with my clinicians. And I think now and in the future, it's really incumbent on us as social workers to just make it work for the people we serve in the smartest ways we can. So, like, instead of sort of resisting it and seeing it as an either or, we have to figure out how to incorporate AI alongside the human-centric approaches so that we can support even our most vulnerable populations, or maybe especially our most vulnerable populations. So I just wanted to sort of add to that from the trenches of day-to-day working with clients and being faced with that, or clients who call up and say, I'm thinking about coming to see a therapist at your practice, but maybe I don't need it. Maybe I can get everything I need from ChatGPT.
So right quick, I swear I'll be right quick. So I wanted to ask you, it's a question, but then also a response. So why is the clinician so against it? Or just,
I think,
resistance?
Yeah, because it's easy to see that as a threat to our existence, to our profession, as in a human-centric way, providing therapy. So the idea is someday will counseling be unnecessary because all of the therapeutic support can be provided by your phone or your computer. I mean, that's sort of the I think sometimes the initial reaction, and therefore skepticism or rejection.
Here's the thing, and even though I know I don't like to call nobody old, I'll say seasoned. You ladies are seasoned, right?
Glad you didn't call us old, Jamel. I'm glad you didn't call us old.
Look, I'll be 48 in July, so I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, look, okay. My daughter reminds me. She just turned 23 yesterday. So what I was going to say, Ms. Zimmerman, is here's the thing. We as humans, we're scared of what we don't know. That's just what it is.
Yep.
We're scared of what we don't know. And then you also have to take it and really sit back and really think about it. And here's what Dr. Ian, that he was the instructor at Johns Hopkins. This is where the people are, they go to the news outlet for their information. Here's the thing, it's not that AI is taking the business, it's the people that know how to utilize it. So even the clients and the clinicians, they can get a job. And here's the thing, we are the social workers, human interaction. And you think about it, that's needed. We was not meant. This is what I tell some of my clients. You know what? This is the simplest it can get. I try to keep things simple, right?
Yeah.
You cannot be your best self by yourself.
That's right.
You cannot be your best self by yourself. Think about like even when COVID happened and we had to be isolated, right? Nobody wants to go back to that again.
Well, and that really speaks to, human relationships and connections are irreplaceable. Mm-hmm. Having support from outside sources and resources, it's great. But that human connection and those relationships are just irreplaceable.
Yes, and AI, there's such a role for AI to support and enhance that.
Mm-hmm. Many models out there, and each model does certain things. Just got to do your homework. That's really what it is. It's your friend, but you can really, it's not going to take nobody's job. I explain it to people, and then when they see it, they're like, oh my God. Oh, really?
All right. So, Lori, you've been quiet.
Yeah.
So I'll go back to the question. Thank you for being patient.
No problem.
So what do you see as the future of social work?
There's a threat right now, right? Obviously, with trying to say that we're not a profession. So I need to protect. Just listening to my colleagues here, listening to Kathryn talk about being on the front lines, and to say that, listen to Jamel talk about IT and working with the community and lived experiences that help us become resources for our communities. Absolutely a profession. So I'm hoping that the future of social work can protect us forevermore as a profession. So whatever we need to do to get that back and to protect that, I think is important. And then I was thinking about the technology as Kathryn and Jamel were talking. If we could look at technology from an equity perspective, when people don't have access to a therapist, but they can ask AI, a question. I'm not hoping that they rely on that only, but anyone with a cell phone now can get access to information that they never had before, right? and open up to a world that they never had before. I think our role is to provide guidelines. Our role is to tell folks that AI is not always accurate. Here's how you can put prompts in to see if it's real. Here's what you can do. Don't rely on it to save your life. So I think there's some guidelines that we could talk about as we talk about in our, doctoral programs. Our professors are helping students to understand how to use it in a way that is ethical. And the fact that we have to be the profession that protects diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like if no one else is going to protect it, we must. We must, because the people that we serve are diverse. The issues that they bring to us are diverse. The communities that we serve are diverse. We serve everybody from, billionaires to people who are on, social services and fixed incomes, in every race, in every religion, in every spiritual background. And so we have to be the profession that protects that. And I hope that we will be declared as first responders if anything ever happens again. Kathryn is a first responder. She shouldn't have to, like, if she walks into, just going to use a restaurant and a nurse is getting a discount because she's a first responder, but Kathryn doesn't. Like, that's just ridiculous. So I know I didn't quite answer the question, but I have a lot of hopes for the profession of social work. And as we continue to raise our bar for our students as well as our profession, I see us getting there someday. I just don't want us to forget that those are things that we should be fighting for as we continue to be successful.
So, Lori, what advice would you give then to students, prospective students, current students, students that just graduated? What advice would you give to them about where social work is heading and where you see the future?
So I cannot get over the student speaker at graduation. So if that's somewhere on our website, go watch that. That young lady, I forgot her name. She was amazing. Denise, go watch Denise's speech from graduation.
Yeah.
Don't lose hope, right? So that was what I was saying. Basically, these are my hopes, my dreams for social work. Don't lose sight of what we stand for as a profession. Don't let the world or the political atmosphere make us believe that we're not valuable, that we're not professionals, that we're not change agents, and that we're not needed in this mixed up world, because we are. Our education is diverse. It takes us into so many spaces. Always show up as your authentic self. Don't be afraid to speak out, and don't do it alone. As I think Jamel said that, don't do it alone, because there's too many folks out here to support the work that we do. And do it with the community that you're serving. Don't think that, no matter what my expertise is, if I don't have the lived experience, I'm not going out there doing it without the folks who have the proximity to the issues that I'm training on, representing, or adding value to. So those are some of my things that I would like to pour into new graduates.
Can I leave a piece?
Can you leave a piece? What do you mean?
Just leave a little going away present.
Okay.
The 4 agreements of courageous conversation. Number 1, stay engaged.
That's right.
Number 2, speak your truth.
That's right.
Number 3, experience discomfort. And number 4, very vital, expect and accept non-closure.
That's right.
The 4 agreements of courageous conversation. I spoke that at the Frederick Community College to the students and staff on suicide and self-harm.
Awesome.
But also I learned that at big ups to PSC, Positive School Centers. That's where I did my intern, my master's degree. Boots to the ground. So
thank you.
That's
I think Singleton, Dr. Singleton, I think created that model. I think Jamel, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
yep.
Well,
there we go.
It has been. I love it. I'm still practicing. I'm sharing. Sharing is caring.
I love it. I love the nugget. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. And I just want to thank all of you for taking the time. I mean, you all are amazing. As I learn more about you, because I've spent time with all of you in some way, shape, or form, talking and knowing about your career and working closely with you and just getting to know some of you. You're all very amazing, but so inspirational. And just your words today, I hope they do inspire other social workers who are in the field, who are just being launched into the field, and for those that hopefully are going to consider social work, because there is a future in social work that is so necessary for our world. And, just like the podcast, the title of it, social work is everywhere. So thank you all so much for sharing your experiences and your thoughts on the future and just all that you do to inspire our communities. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Social Work is Everywhere podcast. If you've been inspired by the stories and impact shared today, consider supporting the University of Maryland School of Social Work. Your donation helps fund scholarships, research, innovative teaching, and community partnerships that make a real difference. Every gift matters. Visit ssw.umaryland.edu/give to donate today. To request more information about admission to the University of Maryland School of Social Work, visit ssw.umaryland.edu/MSW.